This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome to another episode of An Anthropologist Watches Amberlynn read, answer questions, and lie her ass off. Anyway, if you watch the first part of this, which I highly recommend that you do, I go over this and tell you that we are going to be looking at all 4 parts of Amber's Q&A session that she did because she was going to be on vacation, apparently with Tommy. That's my speculation. I don't know for sure. Anyway, that being said, because the Q&As are always really interesting to me because Amber always gives away more than she thinks she does, we will be applying Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power as well as Robert Greene's 33 Strategies of War or Principles of War. I will be putting like an Amazon link down in the description below if you guys are interested in looking up those books. Highly recommend. Robert Greene's a very good reader, very bleak. Very bleak. Very much the Friedrich Nietzsche of the day. But he has some really good things. A very I don't know. He's a good philosopher, I guess is my point. If you're into that kind of crap. Stoicism and all that. I like applying this kind of stuff to Amber because Robert Greene talks a lot about manipulation, and with the strategies of war, it is another way of looking at manipulation. Robert Greene's 33 strategies of war are about manipulation because obviously it's about like psychological warfare, not, you know, go stab your friend with a spear warfare. So it's more manipulation, obviously. But I just think it's interesting to apply those strategies to Amber's Q&A because in this Q&A, Amber gets really, not the second one, it's more in the third and the fourth one, but Amber really does kind of like take it to the mattresses against the reaction channels and people who don't believe her, specifically about like her and Tommy's relationship and the whole rarity thing. So anyway, I just think it's interesting applying these kind of things to Amber in these situations just because like her manipulation becomes so incredibly obvious in these situations here. This video is from 6 days ago as of today, which is, by the way, January the 9th. I forgot to say that in the last video, but whatever. Too late now! This is I'm being fetishized, being portrayed as the villain, and Trisha Paytas is a liar, part 2. Let's see. I want to play with, what are we going to play with? We got chocolate. I finally got the chocolate stabilized, so we're going to play with that. But, that being said, Amber is the queen of the clickbait title. We all know that. Nothing here is new. New under the sun when it comes to Amber. I don't think I really have anything else to say before we get into this. Oh, thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. I would truly appreciate that. We are going into 2025 strong. I appreciate that very much. When we get to 12K subscribers, I would like to I would like to sponsor another cat through the Beagle Freedom Foundation. So something to look forward to. Bring your friends if you want to adopt another Ida. Hopefully her name won't be Ida. That'd be weird, but here we are. Anyway, all of that aside, I don't think there's anything else now that I need to say. If you see me looking down or off to the side, it's because I'm looking at my notes. Chocolates from OG Slimes. All right, let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Welcome to part 2 of a 4-part series where I answer 100 of your questions, 25 questions per part. So the reason why I'm doing this 4-part series is because I promised you guys that I would upload every other day, but I'm going to be busy for the next 10 days, so I'm not going to have time to edit, but I will have time to film. So these videos are going to help keep the schedule up, get you guys content, and for me to keep my promise. I also want to do
Alright, so this is the introduction and the series setup, and this is Law 32, playing into people's fantasies. Amber reiterates her commitment to providing content, leveraging the audience's expectation of consistency and reliability to maintain goodwill despite criticism. I don't think she's received any actual criticisms yet, but Amber goes through these bouts, anyway, where she does actually post pretty reliably for sometimes even months. And then she just falls off the planet. And we don't see her for weeks, sometimes months, actual months. And then she comes back and there's some song and dance and I'm going to be better at this, you guys. I'm going to have a consistent schedule. I'm going to la 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 la. And, you know, it can last for a while and then the cycle repeats, rinse, lather, repeat. Right? So it's that kind of a thing. Wee, chocolate. Smells like pudding. Pudding. So anyway, that's just her reiterating this is just her like verifying to the audience that she is indeed trying to maintain this every other day schedule that she set for herself. And like I said, she will maintain it for a while, which is, I mean, it's nice for the reaction channels because it gives us content, I guess. But part of me is kind of reluctant to really react too much to Amber, and you'll see why. And I think the fourth part of this, where she basically like, anyway, Amber's getting a little too big for her britches, I guess is my point. But that being said, we'll still be reacting to Amber because, again, that is how we started this channel. This is also the strategy of counterbalance, balance internal weaknesses. By creating a structured Q&A format, she avoids addressing controversial topics directly, diverting focus to controlled and predictable content. Yes, Amber's like 100 questions, 25 questions at a time. I got these questions from all these various places that I asked you guys to ask me questions at. And these are totally real questions, you guys, from totally real viewers. And they're burning questions that people want to know. All right, first off, in the end, Amber's still the one that picks which questions she's going to answer. So right there, it's still curated. And secondly, no one gives a shit if you rode a bike, Amber. This is just like some of these questions. A, I don't believe anybody asked you that. And secondly, why does anyone care? Why would you even answer that question? Who cares? And then there are some questions, just the way they're worded. They're like, how are you so graceful in surviving all of the online hate that you receive? You're such a strong person. No one asked you that. You worded that yourself. That is an Amber asking Amber question. Damian White asked Amberlynn that question. All right, anyway. Go.
Do a disclaimer. I got these questions from several different social media platforms where I said, hey y'all, I am doing a Q&A, send me in your questions. All right, let's get into it. First one is, did you finish the jar of poisoned olives? So as you guys know, I was having anxiety because my new thing of olives didn't pop, and it's supposed to pop when you open the jar. That means, you know, fresh goodness. It didn't pop, so my anxiety said that it was poisoned and it was molded over. I was having so much anxiety, but like I wanted to stare anxiety in the face and fear in the face and say, you know what, I'm stronger than you. So I started eating the olives, but then there was a reaction channel that was like, girl, do not use those olives. Do not eat those olives. Like that jar was supposed to pop, like it didn't pop, like don't get sick. She scared me. So now, no, I'm not eating the poisoned olives.
I find this particular answer interesting, and I found it interesting the first time I watched it too. Now, granted, I don't watch a million reaction channels, but the only reaction channel I watched that was like, ooh, no, don't eat those, was Chikara Transformations. And I know there are a lot of people out there who, if they don't hear the jar pop, they won't eat it. And depending on what it is, I won't either. I'm not a big fan of dented cans, and I'm not a big fan... Well, okay. I'm not a big fan of bulging cans, and I'm not a big fan of jars that don't pop. It depends on what it is. I don't think somebody's going around poisoning my food. That's not my problem. But I am deathly afraid of, well, I guess, yeah, of getting botulism. Because that shit kills. And I don't want to die. So there's that. I didn't really get on her for that one. The thing I got on her about with the olives was just her complete overreaction to it and her constant just playing it up more and more and more. And it's just like, just go, I'm not going to eat these. The seal didn't pop, and move on with life. But no, she had to make like a freaking production out of it. And it lasted for 2 whole videos. It was just ridiculous. It was just stupid and ridiculous. Anyway.
Have you ever ridden a bike? Oh yes. When I was a kid, I was always outside
I want to ride my bicycle.
Side, I really wanted to escape my home, let's be real. I swam, I rollerbladed, roller skated, I would ride a bike, I had a scooter, I had an electric scooter at one time.
You and Anna O'Brien.
Well, it wasn't electric, it ran on gas. Is that electric?
No.
I don't know. Then I
No. Amber, what is electricity, Amber? Does it come from the sun?
started doing dances and dancing routines, and I
No, you didn't.
was part of dance groups. I
No, you weren't.
did sports,
Yeah, you played for what, the blue team? You played soccer. You played for the blue team. The universal blue team.
soccer, softball. Like, I was always outside. You would
I don't not believe that Amber wasn't somewhat active when she was younger, because she's still of that generation before, like, video games and TV completely rotted our brains. So, like, she was probably outside more often than someone of the next generation. Not trying to be a dick, I'm just pointing that out. So, yeah, she probably was outside. Was she, like, the most active child on the block? No. No, she was not. She's overestimating how active she was, and she's also flat out lying. This whole thing, I was in a dance troupe and I used to do dances. She claimed that she was part of some dance troupe named Space or something like that. And it's a real dance troupe, and people tracked it down and they asked about her, and they were like, who? Like, yeah, Amberlynn. She was like creating award-winning choreography for you guys. And they were like, no, Amber was basically like the water boy for the dance group. And she apparently was ornery, and they basically kicked her out because her attitude was so shitty. Anyway.
wouldn't think so now because look at me. But yes, riding a bike was definitely part of that. What's your nationality? So on my dad's side, Polish and Irish. On my mom's side, Portuguese and French.
No, that's your ethnic background. Your nationality is American. You're an idiot. Going back to the childhood activities thing, that's Law 44, disarm and infuriate with the minor effect. Amberlynn invokes nostalgia about her active childhood to counter critics who would focus on her current lifestyle, subtly shifting the narrative away from weight-related scrutiny. Kind of like what I did. But more importantly, I was also pointing out the lies around the dance troupe and the whole soccer team thing. That's also, I'm not saying she didn't play soccer, but there's a clip of her when she was dating Destiny where they're in the car and Destiny's talking about her cousin or something that they're going to go pick up because Destiny's cousin plays soccer and she played for like a national team or something like that. And she was a young soccer player, so it's kind of a big deal, is my point. And Amber just could not stand having the limelight not be on her. And so Amber starts talking about, oh yeah, I was a really great soccer player too. And Destiny was like, uh-huh. She's like, no. I played national soccer too. And Destiny was like, oh really? For who? And she's like, I played for the blue team. And it's just like, it was the dumbest clip. And she wasn't being funny. She was being serious. Anyway, this is the strategy of the counterbalance. Reflecting on her achievements offsets the present criticisms, trying to balance out public perception. So she's trying to point out in her past that, like, oh, I was active, I was athletic, I was a lot of things that I'm not today. She even says it here, you wouldn't know it to look at me today. Yeah, well, I've seen pictures of you when you were a kid too. I wouldn't know to look at you then either. Not to be mean, but you were a big kid. So you probably weren't playing much soccer. You probably showed up and you were probably on the soccer team, but you probably weren't doing much. You might have played softball, but you were probably far left field or whatever side it is the ball doesn't usually go to, kind of a thing. It's just like, I'm not doubting you weren't necessarily part of a sports team when you were a child, but I doubt that you played sports, if that makes sense. Anna O'Brien pulls both of these as well. She tries to paint herself as being this really active person in the past. She also tries to paint herself as being a really active person in her adult life, but the proof is in the pudding kind of a thing. And at least with Amber, she's willing to say things like, I mean, look at me now. I don't dance. I don't play soccer. I don't ride a bike. I don't do any of the things I used to do when I was a kid. Anna tries to convince you that she's still doing those things, and it's like, sure, Jan. Anyway.
Would you ever try being vegan again? No, absolutely not, because I would fail. I would not be able to be satisfied. I'm just being 1,000% honest. Call me selfish. It is selfish. I just won't be able to do it. I know that I won't.
This is the most honest she has ever been, ever, on her channel.
What's your least favorite Billie Eilish song? That question is so rude. I genuinely don't know. Like, I love every song she's ever done. I know every single word of every single song, like some obsessive person. I love every song. But if I had to like put them in order, maybe I didn't change my number. Oh, I feel bad even saying that, but I still love the song. Shh. Do you still spray Pam on the food? So if you guys don't know, years ago, I was making some salmon. I seasoned it like a normal person, sprayed some Pam on top, what I considered like a normal person. It literally became a meme because I sprayed some Pam, which is oil, on top of my salmon where people add oil. At the time, I just didn't have liquid oil. So I sprayed oil on top, which I thought was normal. People were going crazy. And still to this day, people literally go crazy about this, saying I don't know how to cook. Why would someone spray Pam on top of food? Like, just hecticana stuff. If I'm watching a vlog, you know how many times I have seen someone spray Pam on top of salmon, on top of chicken, on top of all kinds of stuff that they put in the air fryer. And no one says anything, but yet I was attacked. And I'm still being attacked for it years later. It's
okay, Jeffrey Dahmer. For the hecticana, here's a few things. That was a while ago. Amber did spray Pam on a piece of salmon that she pan fried there afterwards. I could give two little shits. What I don't like about that whole incident was the community's reaction to it, and I'm sure I'm going to get some hate for this, but could you all have been more classist? Not to be too big of a dick, but Amber spraying Pam on her food is just, it was clearly the first time a lot of people had ever seen another person do that in real life, and it was clearly not something that anyone expected, because the internet, for whatever reason, was not prepared to see that. Not entirely sure why. I'm not sure what y'all think Pam is, but in Amber's defense, and I'm more defending everyone else, Amber just happens to also do this. There are a lot of people that use spray oil on food. Again, Amber's saying in the air fryer, she wasn't air frying it, she was pan frying it, which is what makes it slightly weird, but not that weird, honestly. But there are a lot of recipes, especially for the air fryer these days, that I will actually recommend that you spray oil onto the food before you air fry it. Spraying the oil allows for a more even distribution of the oil, especially when you're air frying it. And so it allows the food to crisp up better in the air fryer. So there are multiple channels that I watch that are cooking channels that they do that frequently. So I'm just saying, everybody, it was one of those situations where people were hating on this particular behavior because it was something that Amber did, and not because it was actually that weird of a thing for people to do. And it was one of the few times where I just like was kind of irritated at the community and not necessarily at Amber. Do I want to give her the grace of, she's like, other people do it and they don't get yelled at for it? I mean, she's right. Other people do it, and I've not seen anybody else lose their shit over it. There's a channel I watch called Aaron and Claire. It's Korean style cooking, and he was showing us how to make Korean fried chicken in the air fryer. And that's how he makes his Korean fried chicken in the air fryer. He uses spray oil on them. And he uses a lot of spray oil on it. So there's that. My family, for example, uses Pam for a long time, sprays it on the food, sprays it on the pan. You can come for me if you want to. It's fine. I don't give a shit. I just need everybody to understand. Amber doing it was not that weird of a thing, but the internet treated it like it was. And it's because a couple certain reactors reacted to it in a particularly shocked way, and the rest of the community just kind of ran with it because I guess no one in the community cooks. It's just like sometimes the way people react to her cooking, I'm just like, do you not cook at all? Don't get me wrong, Amber does weird shit when she cooks, but some of the crap people lose their crap over, it's just like, stop it. It's not that weird. Anyway, enough of that.
Tactic. But to answer your question, the answer is no, simply because I haven't made any meals where I had to do that. But yeah, it's kind of just such a weird thing to like make fun of someone for. I don't know. Have you ever been electrocuted? So one time that I do remember for real, I was living in Virginia. There was a horrible storm happening. I was watching YouTube on my laptop, but my laptop was about to die. So I had it plugged into the wall. And while I was watching my laptop, I had headphones on, but that was when I didn't have like the whole wireless situation going on. So there was a wire. So it went headphones.
Back in the day when we used to have wires in our headphones
That were wired, plugged into my laptop plugged into the wall because it was charging. Next thing you know, electricity hits the house.
Look, I don't care that you wrote lightning. Is that spelled right? In your video. Electricity didn't hit. Okay, anyway. I mean, theoretically, yes, electricity hit the house, but also it came up from the ground. So, I mean, if we're splitting hairs.
Right next to where my laptop is charging. And
no, it didn't.
I'm telling you, I was zapped.
Okay, first off, I don't doubt that the house may have gotten struck by lightning during a storm. I also do not doubt that once the house got struck by lightning, that there was a power surge and it may have zapped her because she was plugged into the wall socket at the time. That's not getting struck by lightning. That's a completely different thing. But it does explain why Amber has superpowers now and why we watch her scale walls at the speed of lightning. So, I mean, superhero origin stories come in all varieties.
I literally was zapped. My girlfriend at the time was like, oh my God, are you okay? I don't understand. Like, maybe my brain got fried that day and that's why I'm so like hecticana. You know what?
Now she's just using the word hecticana to piss everybody off. Like, she's just finding excuses for it now. I have had a similar experience. I don't think I was struck by lightning, but there was a faulty electric socket, light socket in my old house, and the house got struck during a lightning storm, and there was like an arc. It was like this blue arc that went from the electric socket. Well, it went from the floor to the electric socket. And it was weird. It was creepy. I did not like the room at all after that because it happened twice. Not in the same storm, but it happened twice over the time that I lived there. So these things happen. I think if I had been standing there and if I had gotten struck by said arc of electricity, I don't think that would have been good for me. Which is why I'm like, these wall sockets are usually grounded. If she got zapped, it was probably like residual, nothing bad. If it had zapped her hard enough to fry her brain, that computer would have been dead. So it went through enough filters at that point. She's fine. It's like the difference between licking a battery and sticking your finger in the light socket. For those of us who have experienced both.
You know what? That actually makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. But yeah, I was electrocuted for real. I don't know how like I came out okay. Or am I okay? Maybe I'm not. It
You weren't electrocuted, but whatever.
Genuinely scared me. When is the last time you watched a mukbang? I haven't watched mukbangs in...
Only when Darius and B-Love make a video together.
Easily 2 years plus. It's just not something that interests me anymore. When and what was the last thing you asked ChatGPT? Oh boy, I don't even remember. It's been a minute. I think a couple weeks ago, I asked it like a saying because I heard someone say something and I was like, what does that mean? Sometimes you can Google these things, but like I'm telling you, ChatGPT will just downright tell you exactly what it means. While Google, it's kind of like speculation.
Google, the thing that's been around for 40 years at this point, how old is Google? Is just speculation versus ChatGPT, which is 5 years old, 6 years old. That one's full of facts. That's the factual one. This, my friends, is why we are going to lose the war against the AI. But Amber brings up both mukbangs and ChatGPT for a reason of Amber gets accused of making like softcore mukbangs pretty frequently because she gets accused of making feeder content, which I do agree that she does do. And And the ChatGPT, that was something that was brought up by Alexis during her villain phase, where Alexis said that Amber doesn't actually like go to doctors or anything like that. She just Googles it, or she just asks ChatGPT questions and just assumes that Chat is telling her the truth, which is now been verified. But this goes under Law 15 of crush your enemy totally. Amberlynn subtly critiques the mukbang community and positions herself as having moved beyond it, indirectly distancing herself from past controversies. I don't know if she's really trying to distance herself from the mukbangs or the mukbang controversies, but it does sound like the way she answers the question that it is a little bit of denial, like distancing denial. Oh, I haven't watched a mukbang in like so long, you guys. One of the reasons why she had a video pulled not too long ago, she had 2 videos pulled not too long ago, and one of the reasons that she had them pulled was she was discussing her apparently no longer existing ED while talking about various mukbang channels that she watches to kind of aid her ED, if that makes sense. So the YouTube in its great wisdom pulled the video because it violates the current terms of services. It didn't violate terms of services when the video was made many a year ago. It's like a 7-year-old video or something like that. But she gets a lot of criticism for her mukbangs. She always has. And she recently, I think it was during Vlogmas, I think she talked about maybe going back and doing mukbangs again, or maybe it was the videos she did in between Vlogmas and this Q&A. But she has talked about going back and doing mukbangs again, so it's not unusual, or it's not strange for her to get a question about mukbangs and if she watches them still, because she has admitted to it in the past. And then even there, she had a note that popped up saying, I guess there's 2 creators that she enjoys watching do mukbangs. This is also, I guess this is called the death ground strategy. Keep them on their toes. By avoiding a definite answer about future mukbangs, she leaves the options open, maintaining a strategic vagueness. So again, she has mentioned recently that she has been thinking about going back to mukbangs. I have said for a long time that she wants to go back to them, and now that she's dating a feeder, whether she'll admit it or not, I think she has more incentive to go back to the mukbangs, more than she wants to. Now she has like the support she needs to go back and doing the mukbangs. If that makes any sense to anybody. Whoosh. As far as the ChatGPT thing, again, I think that's just downplaying how much she actually uses it. But for her to say things like, Google's just speculation, but ChatGPT will really tell you the real truth. I don't think you understand how ChatGPT works. ChatGPT itself says, I can make mistakes. You need to double check me. Google doesn't say that. Anyway, I'm not saying Google isn't infallible. It can be very, very wrong. But Google doesn't warn you to fact check it. Anyway.
ChatGPT just tells you straight. Would you ever go on a cruise? You know, that used to be something I actually genuinely wanted to do, but I
want to go on a cruise. It's okay if I have to poop in a bag. I just want to go on a cruise. It just sounds fun. I want to go on a cruise and see if I can do a cruise better than Anna O'Brien. Anyway, somebody who does cruises, give me a free cruise. I will do your cruise better than Anna O'Brien did.
don't think I would. Something about being in the middle of the ocean for that long.
Sounds great.
It gives me the same feeling of like how I feel claustrophobia would feel like, but it's not claustrophobia. It's like a different feeling. It's like,
I feel excited. It's like a giant floating city. It's like human ingenuity on full display. We created a floating city. It's a floating city in the middle of the ocean. Why don't you want to go on the big giant floating city in the middle of the ocean? Anyway.
I would feel so stuck, and that scares me. I don't like that. How much did you weigh when you were born?
Honey, you don't leave your apartment. You'll be fine.
born. I actually weighed 6 pounds, 6 ounces, so I was a little one. Do you still talk to any of your exes? I do not talk to a single ex-girlfriend. Nope. What is your
That's actually interesting to me because there has been chatter in the past that she and Crystal were still on speaking terms and that they exchanged Christmas gifts and all of that. So for her to go on record now saying that she doesn't talk to any of the exes means that there's been some kind of falling out between her and Crystal, or the speculation that she and Crystal were still friends long after the breakup was obviously not true. So that one for me was just kind of interesting because I was always under the assumption that her and Crystal were at least friendly, but I know that she's not friendly with any of the others. So I know she will occasionally text them though out of the blue for no apparent reason.
favorite sweet treat? A Tootsie Roll or Jamocha Almond Fudge milkshake from Baskin Robbins. Like, oh my god, so good. What shows have you watched recently? Don't come for me. I am watching Beast
I will totally come for you.
Games on Prime. The first 3 episodes have been posted on there and it's definitely highly entertaining. I've also been watching Jersey Shore Family Vacation, Grey's Anatomy, but I think they're on like a little bit of a break. I think that's it. If you could only pick one perfume to use for the rest of your life, which one would you pick? Bright Crystal by Versace. How do you handle all of the hate without getting depressed or going crazy? I'm used to
This is one of the questions where I'm just like, first off, the perfume question I could believe someone asked because Amber has a lot of perfume and she's been known for having a lot of perfume for a long time. So that one I can understand. Who cares what you're watching? But I can see people asking that. The what were some of the other ones? Your favorite sweet treat? I feel like if that is a real question, it was more of a troll question. But now we're on to how do you handle all of the hate when without depression? And Amber's like, I'm used to it. And it's one of those questions that just feels not genuine. But this falls under Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Amber emphasizes her resilience in handling hate, positioning herself as a strong, impervious figure who has adapted to constant criticism. Except when she doesn't, right? I'm used to the hate, you guys. Except earlier during Vlogmas when the hate and the criticism is why I was depressed and I lost my cat and I couldn't keep track of things and Jordy this and haters that and critics this and something. But now it doesn't bother me. I am a rock. I am an island. This does fall under the redirect hostilities by the strategy of redirecting hostilities. By reframing hate as a reflection of societal hypocrisy, she diverts attention from her own actions and onto the actions of her critics. Amber loves to pull the whole, people just hate on me because I'm fat. And it's like, no, people might watch you because you're fat, but people don't hate on you just because you're fat. I will say, I do see sometimes people say rude things specifically about her physical appearance or her weight. But more often than any of that, I see people commenting on her behavior, her attitude, whatever stupid thing she's done recently, like losing her cat, not having her current animals microchipped, being abusive towards her girlfriends, not being a fully functional adult, refusing to get any kind of therapeutic help for the numerous things that are wrong with her, making doctor's appointments and not seeing them through, and just in general lying to her audience and herself. So that's what the majority of her critics and her criticism is. It's not usually about A, her appearance, or B, her physical weight. I do see people say things about her appearance, though.
And I've gone through a lot in my life. I used to hate the saying, what makes you stronger? I was about to say what makes you stronger doesn't kill you. That's not right.
I mean, theoretically it is. What makes you stronger doesn't kill you. I mean, yeah, it's just backwards.
to hate the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but it's genuinely true. I really like that saying also, like, what is chaos for the fly might not be chaos for the bee. Something like that. It's totally true.
I don't know if that's the saying, because I can't trust her to have said it correctly. But if it is, I've never heard that one, and it's kind of cute.
True. Some people can handle really hard things better than others, and I feel like in certain cases, the smallest thing, like, could really trigger me, but like really big things, like every day being harassed online, I don't know. I think I'm just numb to it. It doesn't make it okay.
So, do you have BPD then, and you can't control your emotions, and everything triggers you to the point where your emotions fluctuate minutes within the hour, and you can't regulate said emotions? Or do you not have that problem? Or are you immune to things that would otherwise trigger an emotional response from a person? Like, are you're dead inside when it comes to things that typically triggered other people into having reactions, but you're not dead inside when it comes to things that are convenient for you to be able to be triggered by, so that you can act like an asshole? Is that how we're doing it? Is that how BPD is defined now? Okay. Checking for a friend.
It doesn't mean I want it to continue, but it just means the pain from it has been so constant that my body is actually used to it. And that's pretty sad. Are you ever going to do mukbangs again? Because I miss them. Honestly, I'm not sure. My answer used to be a flat out no, but in this moment, I don't know. Trisha Paytas says she loves
I guess it was this video that she was talking about doing mukbangs.
to lie and does it all the time. Why do you think people accept her serious lies but get so mad at your white lies? Hey, who said that I was...
Okay, first off, you don't have... I mean, yes, you do little white lies, but you also do ginormous, like, puce and plaid lies. Whatever the most obnoxious color lie, that's the lie you do as well. The just like big lies, not little lies, big lies, okay? And you do lies that are easily fact-checked as well, which is the other problem. Trisha Paytas is... There are people that don't like Trisha Paytas. The difference is I guess Trisha Paytas just knows how to, like, embrace and work the hate better than you do. But this falls under Law 41, avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. Amberlynn critiques comparisons to Trisha Paytas, highlighting perceived unfairness while implying her uniqueness as a content creator. Trisha is a far larger and successful content creator than Amber will ever be. And the reason for that is as weird and just obnoxious as Trisha is. I don't like Trisha Paytas. Like, I don't think Trisha has done as many, like, morally objectable things as Amber has. I don't really know the history of Trisha Paytas, so maybe I'm wrong. But all I remember about Trisha is that she's just weird. Like, cringy weird. Like, I'm a chicken nugget weird. It's, like... That's all I really know about Trisha Paytas. That, and she got married and she has a kid now. So, Amber constantly wants to compare herself to bigger creators. Like, she likes to compare herself to the H3H3 group. She likes to compare herself to Trisha Paytas a lot. Who are the other people she likes to compare herself to? She just really likes to compare herself to bigger creators that she thinks she is also like. And she doesn't understand that she's not. And also that there's some kind of likability to all of these creators. I don't know. I mean, I assume. I don't like Trisha, and as large of a platform as Trisha has, I can't sit here and think that everyone who watches Trisha is, like, hate watching her. Whereas with Amber, I'm mildly concerned that all 243k subscribers that she has, I'm a little concerned that the majority of them are actually hate watchers, and that's kind of concerning. Amber should compare herself more to someone like Boogie than to someone like Trisha Paytas. But anyway, this strategy is comparable to the unpredictability strategy by acknowledging similarities to Trisha Paytas while deflecting direct parallels, the lying. Amber is trying to maintain control over her narrative. Amber's not addressing the fact that she lies. She's basically admitting that she lies. But she's like, yeah, but everybody lies. Why do they get to lie, but I can't lie? Right? It's like, don't look at the fact that that I'm over here lying and admitting to you that I lie. Look at the fact that, like, Trisha Paytas lies and everybody still likes Trisha Paytas. It's just like, so you're telling me that you lie? Okay, I mean, that's what I'm taking away from this. Anyway.
I was white lying over here. No, but I actually know exactly what you're talking about because I watch every single one of her podcasts on times 2 speed. I have to... Oh, hold on.
That is so fake. I don't know why she left this in. Remember, Amber edited this, but she chose to leave this in. Because this is Tommy calling her. This is so cute, you guys. Oh my god, Tommy called me. He called me while I was making the video. Oh my god, you guys, Tommy called me.
Baby? Stop. Okay, what was I saying? Sorry.
Because we want to watch you cackle like a witch to your Peanuts girlfriend. Okay.
Right, Tommy called me.
Is that what happened?
Okay, I think I was saying that, like, I watch all of Trisha Paytas' podcasts on times 2 speed. I watch everything on times 2 speed. Like, I literally can't.
Okay, do you want a fucking cold star for not having an attention span that you're capable of watching a video at its normal speed? I mean, to be fair, I watch you at 1.2 speed just to get you over with faster, so...
Attention span is not good. But yes, I have peeped her saying that she lies for fun, she lies to everyone, she lies this, and, like, people love to lie. And, like, she's even had guests on her show that's like, yeah, I lie too, it's, like, so fun. And, like, no one says anything about it. And I'm like, this is weird. I genuinely believe...
I truly believe if that's really what happens, there are people who are saying things about it. Or else, why would Trisha even be bringing it up? This is one of those selective bias things. Amber doesn't see anybody saying anything because Amber doesn't pay that much attention. Therefore, Amber doesn't believe it's happening because the moon isn't real. Ergo, everybody loves it when Trisha lies, but they don't like it when I lie. Something you need to keep in mind, though, I do believe Trisha is also overweight because that will become important here in a minute.
It's because it's trendy not to like me. It's trendy to say the meanest comment in the comment section or the funniest, meanest comment. But with Trisha Paytas, like, she's trending right now. People are forgetting that she still does things that are controversial and she still says things that are very controversial. One of them being like, yeah, I lie all the time. Yay me. Like,
I don't really know if that's controversial, but okay. I don't know enough about Trisha to really have much of a say here. Like, I don't know enough about Trisha. I know she has a kid. That's it. Isn't she married to, like, a Jewish guy? I don't even know why I even vaguely know any of that. Anyway, my point is, people must be talking about that. If Trisha is trending, people are talking. It sounds to me like Trisha has just learned how to take her bad reputation and make money off of it. Like, she's just learned how to use her bad reputation to her advantage. Whereas Amber is desperate to be seen as an underdog and a hero and an inspiration. Trisha's like, I don't care. Where if Amber could just get to the I don't care point, I think she'd be better.
That's weird. But I think the internet really holds on to something and that is what they go with. But it is very tiring to constantly compare myself and have other people compare myself because no one...
and have other people compare myself.
Sees me, you know what? I'm not going to say no one because I'm speaking in absolutes, which I need to not do that. So let me rephrase that. I am learning. I am trying to be better over here. What I was
You can learn!
trying to say is there is a lot of people who genuinely do not view me as human.
That's her other favorite thing to do. People don't see me as human. Who? Who doesn't see you as human? How do you know they don't see you as human? Use your words. Give an example. Just because someone doesn't like you doesn't mean they don't see you as a human. When people tell you not to date a feeder because it might kill you, that's not seeing you as human. Okay? Anyway.
They don't. So it's easy for them.
Also, what does that have to do with Trisha Paytas gets away with lying, but you don't?
To like literally think that I'm lying about everything,
Literally?
and they don't want to believe what I'm saying, or they don't want to accept the fact that I also am a human who is currently experiencing human experiences right along with y'all.
That was so profound. I lost my train. No, I didn't. I'm a real human who's having human experiences along just like you. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm having inhuman experiences right now. I have slime. Woo! What? What does that fucking mean, Amber? What in your little head does that fucking mean? Anyway.
So no matter how much I like compare and like be like, yeah, we're all human and this is what we do, and like everyone is treated differently based.
Maybe don't compare yourself to people. I mean, that would be the first step. Zeno would say, don't compare yourself to others because it's just a trap.
On like how they look and what the internet wants and what's trending on the internet. Nothing I say matters.
Why are you trying to chase the internet? The most successful influencers, for good or ill, don't chase the internet. You know, the most successful influencers, whether they are loved or they are hated, they have their own agenda and they have their own brand and they stick to it. And I think this is a Trisha Paytas thing. Again, I don't know much about Trisha, so I might be completely off the mark here, but even people that are like uncancelable words, they're not chasing the internet. They're just being themselves, and they are just infuriating to the point where people will just keep watching regardless of if they're doing something popular or not, right? Amber, much like Alexandra Rodriguez, is a really good example. Alex is an influencer, I guess, but Alexandra Rodriguez doesn't seem to have an original thought in her head. Alexandra is always doing whatever is the current trend or fashion on TikTok and or Instagram. Like every time I watch her, I'm creating this thing that I saw on Instagram. I'm creating this thing that I saw on TikTok. I'm doing the this challenge. I'm doing the that trend. Yada, yada, yada. She doesn't do her own thing. Like even when she's doing her hair, she's like, oh, I found this other influencer who has this really cute hair tutorial. I'm going to do that. I found this other person who has this really cute makeup tutorial. I'm going to do that. She doesn't have any original thoughts in her head. And so Alexandra's always chasing the internet, which means Alex is always in flux, right? She doesn't have her own brand. It's why her house is beige. It's why all of her walls are white. She doesn't have her own personality. It's the same kind of thing here with Amber. Amber doesn't have her own personality because in a way, Amber is still chasing the internet. She's still trying to be popular. She does the TikTok trends, and she does the duck lips, and she does the fairy hair, and she does the rhinestones on her eyes. And I know later on she's going to be like, I don't follow trends. But she totally follows trends, okay? She's just too fat for most of them. Which is not me being fat shaming, it's me pointing the truth out, all right? Trisha Paytas, from what I understand, gives no shits. For good or for ill. And I think that's why Trisha endures where Amber doesn't. You know, it's like, I know people don't really care for Blair White, but Blair White has a very large platform. Most people know who she is. Like, I can just say the name and people know who Blair White is. And she's very polarizing. Most people I know either like Blair White or they hate Blair White. There's no like, Blair White, right? But Blair White does not care if you like her or not. Blair White's going to do what Blair White's going to do. Amber does care very deeply that we do or do not like her. She wants to be liked. She wants to be loved, to the point where she will go through these manipulation strategies to try to get her audience on her side. Even though we, the audience, can clearly see A, it's manipulation, and B, 90% of the time she's lying her ass off trying to build sympathy because she's not that likable, right? All right, anyway, I'm ranting at this point.
So let's move on to the next question. What did Tommy get you for your birthday? She made my ultimate dream come true. She got me Billie Eilish tickets, and it was absolutely incredible. And then I woke up on my birthday with a surprise. My favorite roses, red roses with baby's breath. Like, it was just like the sweetest.
My favorite roses, the most generic roses of them all.
When you're doing cameos, how many requests do you get a week? I would say around 25, because I would say I average getting about 3 a day, sometimes more, sometimes less, but we're just going to say it was like 25, which I feel like is so much. You guys are so amazing.
I'm totally getting a cameo. Next time she opens those things open again, I'm getting a cameo.
Like, that is so sweet. I'm definitely going to be opening my cameos again soon. I just didn't have the energy to do it while doing Vlogmas, and just a lot was going on in my life, but they will be open soon. Don't you worry.
Oh, I'm getting one this time.
Are there any reaction channels that you think purposely try to portray you poorly? Of course. Every single one. I don't even know why they're called reaction channels, because
What would you call us?
it's like, yeah, they are reacting, but they're only acting in like a negative way. Like, they're only trying to find things that are negative to say.
There's no rule that says I have to find both positive and negative things to react to. I just have to react. I'm glad we're both like on the same page of what reacting is. I just don't understand where the confusion with you over what a reaction channel is. All right. I mean, reaction channels and critiques, discovering Law 33, discovering each man's thumbscrew. Amberlynn targets reaction channels, portraying them as driven by negativity and exploiting her vulnerabilities for profit. 90% of the time, or at least the channels that I watch, they're just saying what you said back at you. And they have long memories. Like, they'll just remember shit that you did or you said or things like that from 3 days ago that you've apparently forgotten, that contradict anything that you're currently saying. And that makes you mad because you want to sit here and rewrite whatever story you're trying to tell your audience in that moment. And you don't want the hassle of either having to remember what you've said in the past, or you know whatever it was you said or did in the past is problematic and you're desperate to have that forgotten. But the reaction channels aren't going to let that happen because it was problematic and you're trying to erase it without dealing with it, taking accountability for it, or apologizing for it. This is the attrition strategy. Her repeated criticism of reaction channels seeks to diminish their influence by exhausting their audience's trust in their objectivity. There are a handful of channels that I would say are truly 100% objective, because I will go with her on, there are a lot of reaction channels that just see the negative in everything she does, and they just nitpick, and they can't give her any kind of credit. It's really hard to give Amber credit, even when she's doing something right, because she's just such a polarizing and unlikable character in general, right? It's like, I was going to use that example, but I don't want to do that. But like, I mean, even Mussolini made the trains run on time. Cool. Still Mussolini. You know, kind of a thing. It's just that it's like that. Is Amber Mussolini? Anyway. So I think there's only a few channels that will, in the moment, actually step back sometimes and be like, hey, Amber's not wrong here, or Amber's right, or in this moment, she happens to be correct. And it's unfortunate that at least one of those channels she decides to go after with a vengeance for some unknown reason. Like, she decides to go in on Zachary Michael for some reason. Like, of all of the channels. But I think Alex is Shook is one of the channels that will occasionally be like, girl's got a point. I don't watch Jordy enough. I know she's got beef with Jordy right now. I'm not entirely sure what the whole story is. I don't know if I care. But, I don't know if he will occasionally be like, yeah, no, that's wrong. But, Kicking Geese doesn't do a lot of reactions anymore, but when she used to, there's been more than one occasion where Kicking Geese has gone, yeah, no, that's not cool, or Amber's right, or nah, she's got me, kind of a thing. I'm not saying Amber's always wrong, because, a stopped clock is right twice a day. It's just, she does so much wrong, and she says so much that's just manipulation and lying. It's hard to be objective, right? It's hard to wade through the crap to see the truth sometimes, right? Because it's like, Amber, normally you would manipulate by making a truth sandwich. You got two truths and a manipulation, right? Two truths and a lie. The lie goes in the middle, right? And that's so you can obfuscate the lie. Amber, has two lies and a truth. Right? So it obfuscates the truth. So you never know when she's really saying something real or when she's lying, because you have to assume at all times that she's lying. It's one of those kind of things. Anyway, I'm droning.
And I think a really good example of that is you watch me do normal things. Like, I spend Christmas with my family and we're making bags for the homeless, and reaction channels are just nitpicking every tiny little detail, that it no longer becomes a true authentic reaction. It's you're purposely trying to find negative things in my videos. It's like a scavenger hunt.
It's still a reaction. Whether I'm nitpicking or not, it's still a reaction. Doesn't mean it's an enjoyable reaction. I don't care that she puts things together for the homeless people. I thought originally she was putting together stuff to take to a homeless shelter. And I thought it was odd they were taking things out of the packages, because I didn't think the homeless shelter would want to take that. But it turns out that they were literally just handing bags to people on the street. If that's what you want to do, that's what you're going to do. I wouldn't do it that way, but, whatever. It's not how I would do it, but that doesn't mean it's the wrong way to do it, I guess is where I was going with that. But in the beginning, I thought that they were taking the bags to a homeless shelter, and I know those places prefer things to be in the original packaging for safety and sanity or sanitation reasons, right? I guess if you're just handing the bag to a random person who's living out on the street, I guess they probably maybe don't care as much. I don't know. But it didn't strike me as being something to nitpick, really, honestly. The people are going to take it, they're going to use what they're going to use, and they're going to get rid of the rest of it. What? I almost made it through a whole recording without you jumping on this desk. So close. You want it in your chair? Get in your chair. Get in your chair. Get in your chair. Right here. Right here.
A word search. It's like a hidden image game. It's how quick can I find something horrible to say about Amberlynn? It's just
30 seconds.
They're purposely trying to portray me in a bad light, and it works. I have never seen anything like it in my life. And if a reaction channel says,
you've been doing it for 11 years. No. What do you want? Send help.
Says nice things about me, even just one slight nice thing about me, or takes my side, their community gets upset with them. That says everything it needs to say right there in itself. How do you feel about people supporting Alex is Shook's absence, but they freak out when you don't post for a few days?
Alex is Shook told everybody he was going to be gone for a while, so his audience was prepared for him to be gone for a while. You drop off the fucking planet with no warning. There's a big difference.
It's easy to support someone that a lot of people support, but publicly, people don't really support me. They don't really support my decisions. They do privately. Like, I get so many sweet DMs, and I'm so grateful for each one. Always am. But like publicly, I don't look like a very supported girly pop. I'll tell you that. But I think that's a reason why like I live in my Delulu land, because I am so supported like behind the scenes.
What does this have to do with people not being bothered by Alex's Shook taking off time versus you? What? Where's the answer?
In my private DMs, like it's crazy. So I kind of like live there. I live in my little Delulu land, and I like to stay there. I kind of like.
Well, considering that's where you found the last 3 girlfriends you've had.
Pay rent there. I just moved furniture in. Like I'm having fun over there. Okay, but publicly.
Oddly, when she starts talking about that, I'm like starting to think about maybe playing Stardew Valley. I know I'm like 3 decades behind that game, but it looks fun, and I'm like in a mood for a new cozy game. And I was like, oh, Stardew Valley, I've heard good things, over the past 30 years. Maybe I should go play it. And I don't know why, but her like, I'm moving in there, I'm putting in furniture. I was just, for whatever reason, got me thinking about Stardew Valley. But anyway, here we are.
It's easier to be like, oh, Alex Ashok hasn't posted for a month. Well, we all love him, so we all have to support that decision. But
Alex told us he was taking a break. I'm betting if I go to, I don't know, but I bet if I go to his channel, there's probably something in his community tab about why he's gone and how long he's planning on being gone. Throwing that out there. Literally every other creator I follow who goes on hiatus typically either says, hey guys, I'm going on hiatus for X amount of time, or they'll say something like, hey, I'm taking a break, don't know how long, and then periodically there'll be a community post, hey guys, I'm not dead, I'm still just taking some time off. You are the only person I follow who just drops off the planet. No explanation, no community tab posts, no, hey guys, I'll be back soon. Nope, you just come back after 2 weeks to 2 months and you're like, oh guys, I left. Did you notice? I just quit wondering. This last time when you vanished, I was like, you'll come back. Everyone else is like, oh my god, she's dead. I'm like, pfft. And?
But like, if I'm gone for a few days, it's...
No, we are having this conversation right here, right now. Okay? You sit in the chair, you get on the floor. That's it. Those are your choices. You want the chair or the floor? You want down, you get down. Sit in the chair, you sit in the chair. Negotiating with a cat. Did I win? Probably not.
Amberlynn is so lazy. Like, she can't even do her job. Imagine if she had a real job and she did this. Like, her boss, oh my gosh, she would be fired.com.
Because you would. and you know it.
It's just about...
Because you've done this shit at a real job and you got fired.
Bunch of hypocrisy. What?
I hate what she does.
What? What is a hypocrisy?
You being stupid. Look, I really don't like when people come for other people and their accents. Or when someone mispronounces a word or something, because you don't know why typically someone is mispronouncing a word, or just because you're from like some part of the country that says a word a certain way does not mean that's the way the word is said all the way across the country, right? That kind of a thing. So I really don't like it when people are like, that's not how you say that word. With Amber, she says shit wrong on purpose. And it makes me mad. because she does it on purpose. Her hextacana, actually, I kind of like hextacana, I'm not gonna lie. But her, like, hextacana, what did she just say? I don't know, whatever the fuck this word was. And then she's like, oh my god, what kind of word was that? Ma'am. It's not funny.
Holy moly, what? Yeah. I'm just gonna blame that on when I was electrocuted. It's a lot of people being hypocrites. It's a lot
I forgot what we were talking about.
A lot of people contradicting themselves, and that's just how it is in this community. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. But I would like to say, as much as I do not like Alex, I have not watched his content in the longest.
She fucking loves Alex. She has one of the hardest crushes on Alex. She loves Alex. She loves Jordy. She loves Zachary. She texts them. She gets in their chats. She interacts with those guys like they're her actual boyfriends. Girl loves those three.
Like, I'm good off of that. He leaves a very bad taste in my mouth. And once that happens, I kind of want nothing to do with you. But I will say publicly,
Alex is one of the nicest reactors to her I can think of. Alex is nicer to her than Zachary. And Zachary is probably the most sympathetic reactor she has. Zachary's just a little nitpicky. Like, he's a little too nitpicky for me. And he just overreacts when it comes to her cooking. And it irritates me. But literally, those are my two complaints. Zachary is the kindest person to her, and Alex is easily, of the really big reaction channels, Alex is easily the second nicest. And Kicking Geese easily fits in there somewhere as well. Like, she's probably on Zachary Michael's level as well. But Amber doesn't like the female channels ever. She's got it out for Karina, which I think is a mutual thing. So, it's fine. She doesn't like Narc Alert. Again, I think it's a mutual thing. It's fine. She's mentioned Kicking Geese like twice in her lifetime. And Kicking Geese has been nothing but nice to her as a reaction channel. So it's just like, girl, stop. Why are you going after the people who are nice to you? Whatever.
I hope that he is okay, and whatever he is going through,
he's fine.
I hope it gets figured out soon. How do you feel about people who fetishize your body? So the word fetish low-key confuses me. So
Reader Lynn over here.
let me go to like the google.com.
Oh, I thought you needed to go to like the Chat GPT because the Google is not accurate. You gotta go chat it in order to find out if it's accurate or not. Ooh.
Fetish definition.
Really?
Please tell me, because I am in confusion.
Alright, while she's figuring out basic words. Law 39, stir up the waters to catch the fish. Amberlynn frames the fetishization. It's been a day, okay? The sun's out. I haven't been outside in a week. I'm here making a video instead of going outside. I miss the outside. I need sun. Not Jordy. Me. I need sun. Alright. Law 39. Stir up the waters to catch fish. Amberlynn frames the fetishization discourse as illogical and hypocritical, stirring confusion to weaken critics' arguments. I don't know why she's pretending like she doesn't know what the word fetish means, because these are the moments where I want to slap her. But also, this is her playing stupid so that she can be like, my god, you guys, that's totally not what's happening. Because she knows that people accuse they've accused pretty much all of her girlfriends, with maybe the exception of like Beck. I'm not entirely sure. But the majority of her girlfriends have been accused of having a fat fetish. Because Amber's never not been small. Amber started this channel at nearly 400 pounds, right? 11 years ago. Which is, I mean, if her girlfriends like bigger girls, that's fine. If that's what you like, that's what you like. But she's well aware of what a fetish is. And she's well aware of what fat fetishization is, because we had this conversation when she started dating Wifey. All right? We had this conversation about Wifey, not only about fat fetishization, but about other things as well. Day collar. There you have it. But we've also constantly been having this conversation since she started dating Tommy. Because feederism falls into that category, right? And her pulling this shit is just another way of her being like, oh, Tommy's totally not a feeder, you guys. Tommy's not into me because I eat food. Tommy's not into me because I'm fat. Really? What's Tommy into you for? Your shining personality? Anyway. This is the mirror way strategy, too. She questions societal norms about attraction, creating a defense that mirrors the critique back at her detractors. So basically, she's, why can't somebody find someone like me attractive? What's wrong with you? Just because you don't think I'm attractive doesn't mean somebody can't find me attractive. That's a you problem, not a me problem. I mean, in the wrong way, she's right. Just because you don't find her attractive doesn't mean somebody doesn't, clearly. But that's also not the conversation. The conversation is people fetishizing her because of her fatness, right? Her obesity becomes the fetish. And that's the part that she's not addressing. And that's the part she's pretending that she doesn't understand. She's like, oh, I don't understand what it means to be fetishized for being fat. Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And you need to stop now. Anyway.
So the definition of fetish is a form of sexual desire in which gratification is strongly linked to a particular object or activity or a part of the body other than sexual organs. Okay. So what that says to me, if you prefer someone...
Tell me, Professor Lynn.
...of a certain body type, and that is what you are sexually attracted to, that's considered a fetish?
No, but I love this face. I'm trying to get a thumbnail. Hang on. It's a good face for this one. I don't know. I just love this face. Anyway.
I'm a little confused by it. So if someone...
It is really hard to be nice to you sometimes.
...prefers my body type, that makes it a fetish, right? According to you.
Yes.
Person who asked this question. So does that mean if the next Joe Schmo in line prefers someone of the skinny nature, does that mean that's a fetish for them? Because
I mean, if he prefers somebody like Eugenie Clooney, yes. Because it's abnormal.
That is what they prefer sexually?
Yes.
I think anyone should be able to look at any body type in the whole entire world.
This is the mirror way strategy that we were talking about, by the way. I'm flipping it around on you. Oh, it's a preference, not a fetish.
World, and be like, that is what I prefer, without judgment. Whether they are tall, short, skinny, fat, chunky, doesn't matter. I think it is highly unfair that people like to say that the only way a fat person can be sexually liked is if it is a fetish. It's just obscene to me.
There's a very thin line, in my opinion, between preferences and fetishization. And it's a very thin line, but that's my opinion. There are people who will argue with me, and that's fine. You can have your opinion. But what it basically boils down to in the end is, if you're not attracted to it, there's nothing you can really do about it, right? Which causes problems. There are certain things that you might inadvertently be attracted to that are just not things that you should be attracted to, and that causes problems. I don't know how to solve that problem. I don't. And I don't want to have that conversation. But anyway, I think we all know what I'm talking about. Amber here is trying to say that regardless of what my preference is, I shouldn't be judged for it, right? which only makes the former conversation more uncomfortable because Amber has gone on record defending people who are, what do they call themselves? Minor inclined or something like that? I don't remember. Anyway. Uncomfortable conversations I don't want to have. But that's Amber's thing. The problem with Amber in this weird conversation is that it becomes a fetish when you are incapable of achieving sexual gratification. Wow. Without that thing being present. So Tommy, for example, achieves gratification because she enjoys watching someone like Amber, a big girl like Amber, eat food and get bigger. That's the fetish, right? She enjoys watching obese women eat food and also gain weight. That's how it works. And she gets gratification from that, right? It has nothing to do with Amber's boobs. It's got nothing to do with her dainty bush. It's got nothing to do with any other part of her. It's the act of eating, the act of observing the eating, and the act of watching Amber get fat. Okay? That's the fetish. There are a lot of people that enjoy seeing big women eat food. I don't get it. I'm not one of them, right? But there are plenty of people out there because there are plenty of people who make good money eating food on camera for people who enjoy watching big women eating food on camera. Amber is sitting here playing stupid, like she doesn't know what the hell a fetish is, and turning it around so that it's no longer about actual fetishization, but it's more about her preference is for a chunkier girl, for a full figure, for curves. Girl, you ain't got curves. You got waves. And if that's what Tommy's is into, which she clearly is, that's fine, I guess. But don't sit here and pretend like you're the average body type and it's not weird. Because it is. I'm sorry. But anyway, I've probably just offended like 90% of my audience. Alright, anyway, we're almost done with this.
That means any old skinny Jan or Mary over there, if that is someone's preferred, does that make them a fetish? The whole
Yes, kind of. Again, Eugenie Clooney. People who are attracted to Eugenie Clooney, whatever, because she's literal skin and bones, right? That's the fetish. The fetish is she looks like a Holocaust victim. Okay? It's weird. All right? Being attracted to that is not normal. I'm sorry. But that's what makes it a fetish. Anyway, being attracted to Cindy Crawford, do we even know who she is anymore? Being attracted to Billie Eilish is not a fetish because Billie Eilish has an average body type. Okay? There's nothing fetishy there. I don't know. Maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. Kim will get in my comments section and yell at me. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway.
whole topic is just like really weird to me, but I like to look at the gray area, and that's what I just gave you. But if we're just doing
No, you didn't, because you don't even know what the word means.
black and white and you're genuinely asking me, how does it feel to be fetishized? Like, because there are supposedly people who fetishize me. Feels great. Feels wonderful. All right, you guys.
I do believe that she would love knowingly being fetishized, because I do not believe that Amber understands the difference between good and bad attention. Amber is of the opinion any attention is good attention, and Amber is of the opinion that to be desired is good. So for her, just the act of being desired in any way, shape, or form, for whatever reason, is good in her book, right? If you desire her because her hair is brown, that's great. If you desire her because she has a lipidemic leg, that's amazing, right? That's the act of being desired is more important to her than any of the other aspects of it, right? So, yeah, I do believe that she would enjoy knowingly and actively being fetishized. But anyway.
So that is the end of part 2. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in part 3 soon. Bye.
All right, so the general observations of Act 2. Deflection and control for the most part. Amberlynn's trying to use storytelling, philosophical musings, and humor to deflect away from the overall scrutiny and criticisms that she receives. And she's also trying to like rewire and rewrite the story up to this point, right? She tries to use discussions of hate to normalize her critics' behavior, reframing their actions as societal flaws rather than being valid concerns. She tries to address things in a humorous manner in order to distract from the underlying critiques. She tries to manage the perception of herself online by using emotional appeals, doing things like telling us how resilient she is, and then immediately switching to telling us how much of a victim she is in like the same 16 minutes. But in the same time, she portrays herself as a victim. She has to portray the reaction channels in a negative image and uses them as the villain to her victim, right? She also likes to keep things very vague so that later she can build on them or deny them as needed. Things such as the mukbang or her overall relationship with Tommy. She tries to keep things very open-ended, kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to be doing mukbangs in the future, maybe. Things like that. It leaves her room to pivot depending on what the public reaction is going to be to it. We have seen Amber change her opinion on things or change her position on things depending on public reaction. Usually it's around her diets, because what she's really doing is using public opinion to back whatever decision she wants to make is, and she's using the public as a way to kind of back that up. But normally, if she finds that there's too much public backlash to something, she just stops talking about it altogether, right? And then the major part of part 2 kind of warms us up for part 3 and part 4, which is the criticisms of reaction channels, where she starts to emphasize the negativity of reaction channels. She starts to position herself as a victim of an unbalanced dynamic and reinforces her narrative of being a victim of unfair treatment. This, in part 2, is the beginning of why I decided to use the Strategies of War book as well as the 48 Laws, because in the next 2 videos, Amber calls out 2 channel. Well, she technically called out Alex's Shook in this one, but not as bad as she's getting ready to call out Jordy. And then in the 4th episode, she's going to call out Zachary Michael pretty badly. And no offense to Jordy, I really think she went after Zachary dirty. Like, she really did Zachary Michael dirty in the 4th act of this. So there's things to look forward to. Her strategic pattern here seems to be damage control, emotional manipulation, and attempt to control over the overall narrative. That's always what Amber's doing. Anytime Amber's addressing the audience or anytime she's doing a Q&A like this, it's always, the goal is always trying to get a hold of the narrative because it's gotten out of her control, trying to turn things back around, doing damage control for something she's said or done or has been perceived as saying or doing. Sometimes she hasn't actually done the thing. Sometimes. The majority of the time she has. But she's also, the way she tries to do the damage control is through emotional manipulation and the villainization of usually the reaction channels. It's usually the reaction channel's fault. And when she says reaction channels, what she really means is Jordy, Zachary, Michael, Karina, and that's about it. She has a hit list, and that list is very small. Because I don't honestly think she interacts with too many of the other reaction channels. Clearly she watches Chikara Transformations, because I think that's where she got the olive jar thing from. Because that's the only reactor I saw talking about the olive jar. About, yeah, I wouldn't have eaten them because they might be bad. Which is fine. Maybe there was another reactor who said it, and if there was, you all can tell me down below. But the only one I saw mentioning it was Ilona, and I find it interesting that Amber would be watching Chikara. That just doesn't seem like something that would fall in Amber's wheelhouse, but you know, cool, whatever. I hope she does. Maybe she'll take some of it to heart. I doubt it. But, so yeah, that's how the Q&As are starting to line up with the 48 laws, and more specifically the 33 strategic strategies of war. We're really going to get into it in 3 and 4. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. I know Amber just posted a new one, and I don't know when I'm going to get to it, probably after I'm done recording these, so in the next few days. I'm sure I'm not going to miss much. It's something about her crumble cookie video, and I could care very, very less. But here we are. So, if you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave an olive down in the comment section, because I think I've talked about olives enough today. And I like olives. Do you like olives? Let me know if you like olives down in the comment section down below. Your emoji is going to be an olive. Let me know what you think of the series. And that's all I've got for you guys. Be civil in the comments section. And that's all I'm asking of you all. And I will see everybody in the next one. Bye!
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.